you're climbing to get back to the top of the division. What did you think of Canelo over the weekend? Did that look like the same type of Canelo you fought a few years ago? And yeah, what did you think of that?
No, I don't think it's the same Canelo. Not quite, but also I kind of figured it was going to be like that, honestly. You know, I heard Canelo saying in the interview, like, I don't really like fighting guys who move around that much like that. And Williams Cole being a Cuban fighter, like, I knew he was going to do that. And so I was curious to see, you know, how Canelo would handle that. And, you know, he kept the ring off well, but that guy just, I feel like he didn't really want no part. It makes for not as an appetizing fight, but still got that fight in September with him.
With him getting older, does that only, you know, feel like you increase your chance that you could beat him in a rematch with Canelo?
Yeah, I believe so.
What did?
As soon as we fought, the next day I'm like, man, I'm gonna beat him. You know, that's just that's how I feel. You know, I feel like, okay, I a few minor adjustments. John.
What about Crawford? Do you think his chances got better, at least the way how you were seeing things heading into the last fight with him and Skull?
I think it's a stylistic matchup, you know, and Williams Cole don't fight nothing like Terrence Crawford. So we're not going to see the same type of fight come September. I think we're going to see a great fight, a real good fight.
You and Terrence have always had like a good relationship, but if he makes Canelo come off the titles, is he on your radar then in the division?
Yeah, I mean, all the top super middleweights are on my radar. You know, I want to face the best. You know, a lot of fighters say that, but I don't feel like a lot of them have shown and proved that. I feel like I've shown and proved that, so I want to face the best. You had something to say earlier?
Yeah, well, what are your predictions on that fight? On Crawford and Canelo?
Man, I don't know. You know, you may think about it for a second and say, oh, well, there's weight classes for a reason, right? But Crawford's a special guy, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be a great fight, and I'm just a fan on that one. You know, I just want to see a good fight, and I think it will be.
Caleb, you and Charlo were talking while Ray was doing his spiel on the stage. What are you guys talking about?
I'll leave that between us. Yeah, respect.
You know Canelo as an opponent. I'm interested to know, you said you think he's slowing down a little bit. What did you see that makes you feel that way?
It's not anything that I saw particularly in that fight, but just where he's at in his career. You know, I feel like he was almost at his peak, you know, when we fought. And maybe it's been a stylistic matchup with some of his opponents, or maybe he's starting to get a little older. I can't say for sure. You know, we can all sit here and speculate all we want, but I think we'll get a good read on that come September. You know, against a fighter who's not going to just be moving around the whole time like Williams Cole, who will make Canelo fight, and I feel like it's going to be a good back and forth.
What is that going to mean for your legacy when they look back and say that's Canelo's last real big win? That's obviously his last big knockout too, only knockout. But what if they go back to his legacy after Plant? He was never the same.
I don't know. I'm not really trying to get patted on the back for losing. You know what I'm saying? So I came up short as a real disappointing moment for me. But I used that as fuel and fire and motivation. Went back to the gym, and you know, like I said before, I feel like some fighters lose and it like shatters their confidence. Whereas me, it's like, well, man, now I'm one step closer to where I want. And so come back, knock out of the year, and you know, falling short doesn't deter my confidence. You know, it doesn't make me who I am. If anything, it does make me who I am. My losses make me stronger. You know, so it's about how you look at it. So, but.
What did you whisper in his ear?
Who?
Your face-off, Armando.
I'll leave that between us two.
Do you feel like you unlocked something new to your style in the McCumbee fight?
Yeah. I mean, over the 18 months, me and my dad had really been working in the gym on my inside game with him and Brad staying in touch, and you know, went out to Philly. Brad came out to Vegas, and but it was me and my dad in the gym a lot. Really grinding, working on that. And a lot of sparring too, like 300-something rounds by the time I came to the McCumbee fight, and it paid off. You know, and I think it's just important to keep, you know, smoothing the edges of your game, because at some point you're gonna need that facet of your game that's going to show up in a fight where that's what you need, and so you want to make sure you got all the tools ready for it.
Do you bring that out in the Reséndiz fight, or just box his ears off?
We'll see.
Yes. What are the best attributes of Reséndiz?
The best attributes. Well, one, he's not physically, but mentally, he like I said, this is his big moment. He wants it, and so I know he's training hard, working hard, and he's a determined guy. He wants that life-changing moment, but I'm a determined guy too, and I'm not looking to let him take that from me. So.
Caleb, talk to us about crushing the dreams of a fellow father like you are. He talked about it. His family's depending on him. Everybody's depending on him. You looked over and said, I'm doing the same thing. Talk to us about that.
Eat or get eaten. You're going to have to find a different way to get his family right. You're going to have to find a different way to get his family right. Because this is how I feed my family. So if you're in the way of that, it's either you get step aside or get stepped on.
Okay.
What did he tell you during the face-off? He said, I'm not scared, I'm not afraid. Is that what he said?
My Spanish ain't all that. So.
Oh, I thought you was...
Can we talk about the division picture really quickly? I know you went back and forth with Berlanga for the longest time. So what do you feel about his chances against Shiraz?
I don't know. Probably good. He's just moving up from middleweight, and but who knows? Who knows? That's for them to figure out. And like I said, a lot of times we speculate on things, but fights are for the fighters to figure out when that bell rings. And so, plus with that fight getting announced here recently, I've been locked in camp and locked in on the task in front of me. So I haven't really given a whole lot of thought, but I'll be ready to see it.
Do you want to make sure you face the top guys in the division moving forward and not kind of have these tune-up level kind of fights?
Well, I tried to make a fight with Berlanga, and he seems to be part of the witness protection program or something. He don't want no smoke. Everybody here knows I've been calling for that fight, been wanting that fight. Munguia was busy with Bruno. Canelo was busy with Skull, and I may need another win or two to even work myself back in the position as if Canelo wants to have a rematch. And so that left Jermall Charlo for a big fight for me, but he wanted to get active and get busy, and so that left me doing the same, and that was my fastest way to a big fight that I want. So not every fight is always going to be a mega fight, and maybe I've spoiled some of the fans by giving them people like Canelo, Durrell, Benavidez back to back to back, but it's not going to be like that every time. So I get to the biggest fights the fastest way I can, and this was my fastest way to a big fight.
Caleb, what did you think of Ryan over the weekend? I know you guys have your past, and you've talked about the sport needing to be clean, and there was speculation how he looked with the clean test, not tested positive like last year. Just what did you think of all that?
God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.